Do you ever feel like you're waiting for permission to succeed? Waiting for a boss to finally see your worth, or for some golden opportunity to just fall into your lap? That feeling of powerlessness, like your future is in someone else's hands, it's a modern-day prison. We're taught to be patient, wait our turn, and hope that our value will eventually be noticed. But what if that's just bad advice? What if waiting is the slowest, most frustrating path to a life you don't even control? The ancient Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, knew a secret that's been buried under centuries of be patient and wait. They knew that real power is never given. It's never handed down from on high. Real, unshakable power must be seized. Now, this isn't about aggression or taking from others. It's about a quiet, internal revolution. It's about building a sense of personal authority so strong that you no longer need anyone else's permission to act, to grow, or to define your own value. This is your guide to stop waiting and start taking control by building an internal power no one can ever touch. We're going to break down the 5 Stoic frameworks that make this possible. And if this way of thinking is new to you, hit that subscribe button and join a community dedicated to building a life of purpose and strength. First up is the absolute foundation of Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. It's a simple idea that will completely change your life. The Stoics taught that we have to separate what's within our control from what isn't. So, what can you actually control? Your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your effort. That's pretty much it. And what's out of your control? Almost everything else: the economy, the weather, what other people think of you, and whether or not you get that promotion. The person stuck waiting for their boss to notice them is focused on something they can't control, their boss's decision. The person desperate for likes and validation is focused on the whims of others. It's a perfect recipe for anxiety. To seize power, you have to radically shift your focus. Pour 100% of your energy into what you can control. As the philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That single idea is the key to unlocking your own power. Power is seized the moment you stop begging the world for things it doesn't owe you. Instead of worrying if you'll be given a chance, you focus on being the person who is undeniably ready for it. You master your craft. You build your character. You control your reactions. This is how you reclaim your power. Try this tonight. Grab a journal and draw 2 columns. On one side, list what happened today. On the other, list how you reacted. Now, circle only the things you had direct control over. You'll quickly see your real power isn't in the events, but in your responses. This is the first step to seizing control. The second framework is all about building your inner citadel. Think of it as a fortress inside your mind, a place so calm and strong that no amount of external chaos can ever break through. This fortress is your character, your principles, your reason. The Stoics knew that if you rely on external validation, you've built your house on sand. A compliment makes you feel great, an insult ruins your day. You're basically a puppet, and you're letting the world pull the strings. Building your inner citadel means creating a sense of self-worth that is completely independent of what anyone else thinks. It's an internal power source. Since no one gave it to you, no one can ever take it away. You become the final judge of your own value. This isn't about being arrogant or ignoring feedback. It just means your foundation is so solid that praise and blame are simply data, not verdicts on who you are. So how do you seize power here? By practicing self-approval. You set your own standards based on your values, and you judge yourself by your effort and integrity, not by the applause you get. Every time you act on your principles, especially when it's hard or when no one is watching, you add another stone to your fortress wall. Every time you choose a rational response over a knee-jerk reaction, you reinforce the gates. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men on earth, spent his mornings reminding himself to be fair, resilient, and virtuous. He knew his external empire could fail, but his internal one could stand forever. Your power isn't seized when others finally recognize your worth, it's seized when you no longer need him to. The third framework for seizing power is the practice of voluntary discomfort. This one feels a little weird in our modern world, which is obsessed with comfort. But the Stoics argued that this constant search for ease actually makes us fragile and terrified of life's inevitable challenges. If you've never faced hardship, you'll be easily broken by it. Voluntary discomfort is about intentionally taking on small challenges to build your resilience for the big ones. The philosopher Seneca, who was an incredibly wealthy man, would periodically lie as if he were poor. He'd eat simple food, wear old clothes, and sleep on the hard floor. He wasn't punishing himself, he was training himself. He wanted to look hardship in the eye and ask, "Is this what I was so afraid of?" only to realize he could handle it just fine. This is how you seize power over your fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being uncomfortable. This is what keeps us waiting around. By willingly stepping into small discomforts, you systematically strip fear of its power over you. Take a cold shower. Skip a meal and just feel what it's like to be hungry. Go for that run when you feel lazy. These tiny acts of self-mastery prove to your brain that you are not a slave to your feelings. You start to understand that real power comes from disciplined habits, not from the world making things easy for you. When you know you can endure, you're no longer afraid to take the risks needed to seize opportunities. You stop waiting for a safe path and start blazing your own, confident you can handle whatever comes your way. The fourth framework completely reframes how we look at failure. It's captured in the idea that the obstacle is the way. This concept, which the Emperor Marcus Aurelius lived by, suggests that every single problem we face can be turned into a source of strength and opportunity. Where most people see a roadblock, the Stoic sees a new path. Where others see failure, the Stoic sees a lesson. We're often taught that being powerful means having a life with no problems. But the Stoics teach the exact opposite. True power is the ability to benefit from your problems. It's like alchemy, turning lead into gold. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a strategy. That difficult project isn't a burden, it's a chance to practice creativity. That harsh criticism isn't an insult, it's a chance to practice humility. That failure isn't the end, it's the ultimate teacher. Seizing power here means you stop letting your circumstances dictate your mood and start demanding that they make you better. You stop seeing obstacles as signs to wait for a better time. You see them as the raw material to build your strength. Frederick Douglass famously said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand." The Stoic applies this to their own life. You must demand growth from your challenges and lessons from your failures. This is the essence of amor fati, a love of one's fate. It's the ultimate expression of personal power, to not just accept your life, but to embrace all of it as the perfect training ground for your soul. The fifth and final framework is the glue that holds everything together, the commitment to act with virtue. For the Stoics, the whole point of life was to live in line with virtue. They focused on four big ones: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. This is the moral compass that has to guide your seizure of power. Because without it, power just corrupts. This isn't about becoming a tyrant. It's about becoming a just, wise, and courageous ruler of your own mind. Let's quickly break them down. Wisdom is knowing how to tell the difference between what's helpful and what's harmful. Justice is about treating others fairly, even when you don't have to. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting the right way even when you're scared. And temperance is self-control, mastering your desires instead of letting them master you. Why does this matter for seizing power? Because power without virtue always falls apart. If you grab opportunities through deceit, no justice, you'll live in fear of being found out. If you act on every impulse, no temperance, you'll waste everything you gain. If you're paralyzed by fear, no courage, you can never actually seize anything in the first place. Acting with virtue ensures the power you build is solid, honorable, and actually fulfilling. As you build your inner citadel and turn obstacles into fuel, virtue makes sure that the fortress you're building is a beacon, not a prison. Before you go to bed, review your day like Marcus Aurelius did. Ask yourself, where did I act with wisdom? Where was I courageous? How can I do better tomorrow? This keeps you aligned with the idea that you are seizing governance over yourself, and you must govern well. So, let's bring it back to that feeling of waiting for a life that hasn't started yet. The Stoic framework gives you a powerful alternative. It shows that real power isn't given to you by anyone. It's seized, piece by piece, through deliberate, daily practice. You seize it by mastering the dichotomy of control, focusing only on what you command. You seize it by building your inner citadel, creating a self-worth no one can touch. You seize it with voluntary discomfort, becoming fearless and resilient. You seize it by turning obstacles into fuel, transforming every setback into a setup for a comeback. And you anchor it all by acting with virtue, making sure the power you build is worth having. This is not a passive philosophy. It's a profound demand you make of yourself. It's a declaration that you are the ultimate authority in your own life. Power is not given, it's taken. Not from others, but from the parts of yourself that have been taught to wait, to doubt, and to fear. The journey begins right now, with one choice. So here's my challenge to you: pick one of these 5 frameworks. Just one. And commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. Comment below with the one you're going to implement starting today. Will you master your control? Build your citadel? Face discomfort? Embrace an obstacle? Or act with virtue? Making that declaration is the first step in seizing what is rightfully yours.